Hey everybody, it's me again. Just doing my third log. This log is going to be specifically talking about one of the more interesting days of construction we had on our flutes. Um, so Nick and I decided to start working at his place because his parents both have a lot of tools that are able to work on these on flutes or art or whatever. They they do a lot of construction and a lot of work on that field. So as a result, he had a lot of tools over there, and so we decided to work over there because it was a lot closer and more familiarity with the tools, and that way we weren't imposing on Mr. Pepper too much. Um, and what ended up happening was we went over there, and the plan was to clean out the inside of the instruments, to sand them down, to make them all nice and pretty on the inside, so when we actually get to painting them and all that, it doesn't get all clumpy and stuff. And Nick had done it to his flute the night before, and I took a look at it, and it was smooth and shiny on the inside, no problems. It looked like it was polished just right that morning. So we honestly didn't see it as if there was a problem there. And he detailed to me exactly what he did to have that happen for the inside of his flute. What I ended up doing was he took a piece of plumbing conduit and then attached it to the end of an electric drill. It's not exactly a traditional method of polishing out the inside of it, but we don't actually have access to scouring rushes, and we didn't have a lot of time. So the drill with the plumbing conduit and then sandpaper attached to the end of it. So if it worked for him, obviously it could work for me, right? So we attached the whole deal together and we get it to work. And well, the problem with my flute is that there's the second node, the one closest to the mouth hole, aside from the one on the very end. It was always really hard to get to. Like, it was always very constricted in terms of size, and yeah, the plumbing conduit went fine through the first node, and when it got to the second gate, second node, spinning was having a bit of a harder time. So we kept on going at it, and we were hoping that with perseverance it would eventually sand it down. What ended up happening is the plumbing conduit's made out of plastic, and plastic heats up with friction. Most things do, and with sandpaper there was a lot of friction, and what ended up happening was, without noticing, the the plumbing conduit itself got so hot that it actually started to twist on itself, and it started to get really sluggish as a result, right? Because we were feeling like it was trying to resist or whatever, it was trying to get caught. So instead of being smart and going, oh, we should probably back off, this isn't how plumbing conduit's supposed to work, we went, oh no, it's gonna be fine. We're just gonna walk into this thing and just sand it down. There's nothing wrong going on. It's not like there's gonna be a problem with the plumbing conduit snapping off on the inside, and with the duct tape that we use to keep the sandpaper on the conduit, it's not gonna melt and create a gooey mess or anything. And there's absolutely no chance that it would split into three separate pieces and get stuck all on the end of the flute. The plumbing conduit melted and tore. It snapped at the top, tore in the middle, and the third part just broke off because of the heat and the strain. It couldn't take it. Sandpaper got stuck and melded with the plastic. The tape got melted as well. It was a Gorilla Tape, and it got melted on the inside of the flute and got stuck there, and that helped to create a seal. And at the end of the day, when we figured out that the plumbing conduit had broken out, and I looked inside, there was all this plastic on the inside, and we were wondering where the hell all this came from. Like, how the hell it happened. And then, so we tried to get it out. And we had this long metal contraption with a hook on the end of it, and we'd pull, and we'd pull, and we'd pull, and we'd pull. And I went on at this for like an hour or two even, and it just was not coming out. And so I decided, I'm going to try to at least to put some more holes in the flute, because, we were digging out holes today as well. And so I tried to put some more holes in the flute so that way I could try to get it in what hole, and then try to pull it down to the next hole, and then pull it down, and then pull it down, and then pull it down. And as we drilled holes, I drilled the first hole a little bit off. The rest of them were fine. And, I tried to drag it down. It wouldn't go any farther than the node. Go figure. It was getting stuck by Gorilla Gate, blockade pretty much. And So I decided, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna forget about the whole, business with the stuff on the inside. I'll deal with it tomorrow. It's already been a frustrating after evening, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut all the holes. And so I cut the first hole, and in the process of cutting the first hole, I cut my thumb up at least a good 6 times. You probably can't see. No, you can't. But there's a million scratches all over my right thumb, and then one long slash across the middle of it, around there. And I drew a little bit of blood. I'm like, okay, that sucks. I'm gonna try a different cutting technique. So I tried a different cutting technique, and again, bamboo. It's one of those things that's you'd think would be easy to work with, but it's just not. And I tried to carve out the holes, and it would slip because the bamboo would just give way sometimes. And I managed to really cut my other thumb, and it was bleeding for like a good couple of hours afterwards. And I nicked and cut myself at least another 2 times before I threw my flute down on the workbench, like literally tossed it and went, "I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore today. I'm finished. So unbelievably finished." And yeah, so everything that could have gone wrong with my flute that day did. Now, things worked out in the end. The next day I went back, and Nick's parents are apparently amazing with everything and managed to actually get everything out of the flute after hours and hours of pulling, but this time with a different metal implement with a sharper hook on it so that way it'd actually dig in. Either way, it all eventually got cleaned out, and the flute looks good now, so no issues there. But that was a rough day. That was the most difficult day of construction that there was, hands down.